Hey guys, how's it going? This is another little video on multi-track stuff in Audition. A couple of things that I didn't really get into in the last video that I did on voice tracking. Just some specifics. So, volume. Adjusting volume in different clips. We talked about doing it this way, which is like a global control for each track. There's a mixer window too, which is basically the same thing as moving that little knob. So you can see here the track 3. This is my voice coming through on track 1. As I mentioned, track 2 is what I typically reserve for pre-produced elements. Track 3, which I typically save for music beds. You can do it however you want. I'm just suggesting. But so yeah, the fader right there is the the equivalent basically. You can also punch the number in manually that way. Another thing to be aware of. So we're gonna do this next spot here, which is 1329. So we're gonna grab that next warp spot. One thing I didn't really talk about because it just so happened that the promos I was using in the last video, they have a quiet enough out cue on those spots that I didn't really need to adjust the volume at the end. But most of the time, if it's like a regular promo, like a fresh air promo, all things, whatever you're working with, you're gonna want to. Normally, you would use the faders in the control room to bring down the level of that promo so you can speak over top of it, and it is coherent. So you have to do that kind of manually. You do that by, if you see this yellow line going across the multi-track clip here, that's the volume. So it is by default set at 0 dB, which just means it's how you pulled it. It's no adjustment to it, other than what here is on the global track setting. So in order to do a fade out, to simulate a fade out, you see how when I hover over there, there's the little plus sign. Yeah, so by clicking, it gives you these little blue guys, which these guys here, keyframes. So if you make one accidentally and you want to delete it, you can right-click, hover over it, right-click, and go delete selected keyframe. But I want to create 2 of them, and then that second one I drag down. Typically, I mean, it depends on how loud the end of that spot is, but anywhere from 9 dB, well, sometimes even 6 dB down to -12. So kind of just depends on the spot. So that's one, and then I'm going to pull up my music bed from my little Finder window, which is off screen. And then again, a fade. So anyway, so that's how you do you simulate what you would do with the faders there. You can still do it very quickly once you get used to doing that. .org. Or call 815-753-8800 and make your gift right now. This is 89.5 and WNIJ.org. You're listening to The Takeaway. More on the way in a moment. Also, Science Friday coming up at 2 o'clock. Support for The Takeaway on WNIJ comes from the Coronado Performing Arts Center, featuring An Evening with David Sedaris, Monday, April 24th at 8 p.m. Tickets at coronadopac.com. This is WNIJ. Now, let's just say that I got done with that break, and I'm like, okay, well, I had 5 extra seconds. I could say something more than that. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to edit up the end of that break. So I'm going to take it back to here or so. And I'm going to do this wrong the first time, hopefully, so you can hopefully be able to hear how wrong it is. This is 89.5 and WNIJ.org. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at WNIJ News. So then let's go back. Anytime you edit it, you should listen to, anytime you punch into a break like that, that's what that's called, punching in. When you go back and you overdub something, essentially. It's not really an overdub. It's more punch in is what you would call it. But so we're going to go ahead and hit solo on that track. So that isolates that track. We're going to just listen to that so we can hear that in detail. Let's listen. .com. This is 89.5 and two breaths there. So you got to be careful when you're punching in. So what we'll do is we'll just, what I just did there was I pulled this one back some more. So we're only going to hear that one breath. And you'll notice once you drag this one over the other, it auto crossfades there. Let's listen to that. .com. This is 89.5 and WNIJ. Okay. And even then, I mean, I was exaggerating that on purpose. So what we're going to just do is, the first breath was more natural. We'll just go like this. EAC.com. This is 89.5 and WNIJ.org. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at WNIJ News. Beautiful. All right, so that's what we want. So the 2 points there, number 1 was make sure on those promos you are simulating a fade out at the end of the promo. And then if you are punching in on breaks, make sure that you are not doing something, make sure you're careful with your edits so that you're not having 2 breaths or something like that, because that just obviously sounds like an edit, even to somebody who's not well-versed in the ways of the edit. So that is that for now. I'll keep you updated as I think of other things. Thank you.